Revolution Radio proudly presents, live from the heart of the Blue Ridge, Roanoke, Virginia. It's the justBernard Show with host Bernard Alvarez. Join Bernard as he shares topics that reveal the real matrix and empower your human experience, including world liberty, the esoteric, suppressed technologies, spiritual ascension, and human consciousness. Humanity has awakened, and our time has come to realize our full potential. And now, live from the Scarcity, your host, Bernard Alvarez.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of the justBernard Show here on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. My name is Bernard Alvarez, and I will be your host for the next 2 hours. We have a wonderful, exciting guest joining us in just a few minutes. Of course, keeping the conversation and discussion of truth, reality, awakening, and consciousness going every week here on the justBernard Show. Again, we're very happy to welcome Marco Missinato. Will be joining us in just a few minutes. But before we get started with the show, I'd like to welcome our assistant producer and assistant empowerment director of the Global Illumination Council, Reverend Trevor Knott, is joining us live from Winnipeg, Manitoba. Hello, Trevor. How are you?
Hello, hello.
How are you this week? Everything good?
I'm good. Quite the exhausting week, but everything's cool. We finally have a real winter up here now.
I saw you have a blanket of snow up there right now, or had a blanket of snow.
A couple blankets.
A couple blankets. Okay, we had. It's funny you mentioned that. We had a flurry up in the mountains, but nothing here. Nothing here. Even though it looked like it was going to snow all day yesterday and the day before, but. Wonderful. Well, just for everyone who is listening, I want you to know that Trevor is manning the chat room. And if you have any questions for us during this broadcast, Trevor will be there to make sure that we get your questions and get them answered for you. Let me just tell you a little bit what's been going on with us. I just want to let you know that we are rounding out our, how shall we say, our holiday production schedule. Not only do we do this radio broadcast, but we also do live streaming programs as well as original content on our YouTube channel. And as many of you know, I have been releasing the episodes of Contradiction that Roxy Lopez and myself produced together. We're already up to episode 2. Episode 3 will be released either later today or tomorrow. And that episode is going to focus on the contradiction of cooperation and people helping people. We hear so much negativity about co-ops and, socialize this and socialize that. And we seem to be in a paradigm where people are just so afraid to help one another. I don't know if it's because we're brainwashed by the right wing or we're just so afraid of losing our individuality. But it seems that in a day-to-day, people really don't want to help each other. However, we see that all change. The paradigm changes immediately. The mind shifts immediately when there is a crisis. People do pull together. I saw it in Miami after Hurricane Wilma. We saw it with Hurricane Katrina. We're seeing it now with the Philippine situation, typhoon. And it is within our human nature to share. It is within our human nature to cooperate and to help each other and to hold each other up in our truest light. And that is what our next episode, which will be released again either later today or tomorrow, depending on your time zone, the next episode of Contradiction, People Helping People, with Roxy Lopez and myself, Bernard Alvarez. So keep an eye out for that. You can find that on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/justBernard. And I believe Roxy is loading them on her YouTube channel as well. For those of you that don't know, Roxy Lopez is also a host here of the Truth Denied Radio on Revolution Radio, and a very, very close friend of mine. As well, I just wanted to share on the topic of the Philippine situation. We're hearing a lot, again, of diverted money, and I knew this was going to happen. I was very concerned that the Red Cross or these government grants were going to end up in the hands of the government, the elites, and not on the ground with the people. And we're starting to see the stories coming out I believe it was actually a mainstream news agency that talked about 240 million missing. But I want to let you know that we are in contact with an organization on the ground. These are real people, kind of like an Occupy Sandy type thing. It's a good friend of ours, Roger Lundgren, and all of his friends in the Philippines are literally on the ground putting together packages and bags of for people. I believe yesterday, the day before, they put 500 bags together of relief, and they are the ones literally receiving the goods, putting the relief bags together, and they're the ones distributing it. It is not being done by a non-governmental organization. It's not being done by the Red Cross. This is not from the government itself. These are literally people on the ground helping one another. If you are interested in getting hold of them, they are more than happy to take your donations as well as getting people on the ground there. I know that one of our friends from the Global Illumination Council Facebook page said that she's headed over there in 2 weeks to help out on the ground. If you are interested, please go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Global Illumination Council. Click on our pictures. It's the third picture in. You'll see pictures of relief of rice and people holding water and whatnot. And all the information is there. There's a phone number. You can call directly there to the people on the ground, asking them what they need. If you want to send supplies, if you want to make a donation, or if you want to literally fly over there and help out, you can. For the relief of Typhoon Haiyan. So I just want to put that out there. I think it's very important. Again, I'm very weary of these larger charities. We know that a lot of them, what is it? The Red Cross guy makes $1.5 million a year. And, a lot of your donations are going to pay his salary. We need to get that on the ground right now. And not to say that we don't need the Red Cross, but right now they need help. There are people there that were living in a cave, literally living in a cave. I think it's 2,000 people. They ran into a cave. They lost everything. There's no water. There's no food. And it's a small island, so it's very hard to get to. So we're dealing with 2,000, I believe it's 2,000 families that are without anything right now. They're stranded on this island. So I hope that you guys will take a look. And again, go to facebook.com/Global Illumination Council to get the information. Go ahead and click on our picture. As well, there is information on our website, thegic.org. Just click the blogs, and you'll see there's an article that we posted a couple days ago relating to making sure your money gets on the ground and not into the pockets of the elite. So without further ado, let me share a little bit about our guest. Marco Missinato is a composer. He is from Italy, and he's joining us live today from Rome, Italy as well. One of the things that he was brought to my attention actually by a mutual friend, and when I saw the work that was being done and just the beautiful music, the beautiful imagery, the whole idea that humanity can be helped through music, it really resonated with me. And we're scheduling a few productions together, including the show and another video show coming up. But Marcus says that humanity has been in an artificially created reality that promotes individually and collectively our existence is like a symphony that is out of tune. At this important time in Earth and humankind's journey, music plays a significant role as a channel of harmony and transformation. Music can dissipate the illusion of separation and facilitate our evolution through the necessary healing process to attune and awaken us to life's true purpose of love, joy, peace, passion, and return to our essential oneness. So without further ado, let me welcome you live from Rome, Marco Missinato. Hello, Marco. How are you today?
Hello, Bernard. It's so nice to be able to spend some time with you and your listener tonight. At least tonight for me, because I'm in Rome and it's about 8:15 p.m. And my deepest appreciation for your work and for the big support that you are providing with your work to humanity. Thank you so much.
Well, I thank you too as well for the work that you've been doing. And the fact that it's prime time in Italy right now. So this is a good time. Hopefully they're listening there as well.
Yeah, hopefully. Yes.
Let me ask you, Marco, right away. From the quote that I just read, you believe that music really can help us right now in this transformation. Humanity is going through whether we want to call it a spiritual unfolding, a consciousness awakening, a revealing of the truth, whether it be politically, geopolitically, or just even within ourselves and our humanity. You're saying that music is going to be is a significant part of that, and I really appreciate that, because so many of us in this movement are so busy dealing with the philosophy, the politics, the meditation, the spiritual. We forget sometimes how important music is, and music is a very intricate part of my life before my awakening, and I can see what you mean by that. So, how is it that you see this happening? How do you see that music can play a role in aiding the awakening of humanity?
Well, it is, first of all, is a heartfelt sensation that I had since I was born. Since the very moment I became physical, I immediately sensed that music was, first of all, was my gift, was my way to also provide a personal expansion, but also as a reflect also to help others. And so I'm saying this because I'm talking from personal experience. So every time I feel I want to go back home, music takes me right away there. So that was a situation that I felt since the very beginning. For me, it was very difficult to adapt myself in this density because I was extremely sensitive. And every time music was playing, immediately the illusion of separation would dissipate. But there is also other reasons. So, I mean, I know, I can sense that we all are coming from sounds. Everything that exists, it's vibration. So vibration is sound, express itself first with sound, and then from sound come shapes, forms, like sacred geometries, I believe, is the first shape that takes place in the realms. So because we are all coming from sounds, it's obvious that sounds is our blueprint, is what we really are made of. And so when music is played from a connection with source, immediately has the ability to dissipate the illusion of separation and bring a sense of oneness among everyone.
And with that being said, I just want to acknowledge that, there is the metaphysical understanding that everything, like you said, the creation was sound. The idea of the Om is another variation of that. But
yes,
I wonder, and I don't know if you've done any work in this as far as like frequencies and megahertz. I mean, for me, I listen to Unfolding Secrets, and I'm taken to another world. I feel very empowered. I feel very relaxed. I feel very clear. Did you do anything with as far as like the frequencies of it, or did that just happen naturally and automatically?
No, my relationship with music is completely heartfelt. I mean, I actually didn't have any training. I don't know basically anything about music. And by not knowing, by a space of not knowing, I approach music with an innocence, a childlike approach, and that allows me to go straight to source and download information straight from there because I don't have any agenda. So I can say in a certain way that when I do music, I really don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
I'm just allowing things to happen through me. So that's a little bit of an explanation I can give it to you. But music is really the creative process is a very mysterious process, and it's really difficult to talk about it.
I know. The only reason why I asked you that, Marco, is that there's been a lot of scientific studies as far as the resonance of certain frequencies and megahertz and whatnot, and we're seeing it now in modern pop music where it does it lowers the vibration. It doesn't
It does.
elevate the vibration.
Yeah.
And your music truly does raise the vibration. I was just wondering if perhaps maybe someone had done a frequency or a resonance test to find out where it resonated.
Actually, I had some a holographic an hologram expert who is decoding the message that he, with his gift, is able to he can read information between the music of Unfolding Secrets, and is gathering some interesting information that it seems like they're coming straight from the stars, from the star system. But it's a little bit too early to talk about that because the work hasn't been completed yet. However, I am aware of frequencies, and I'm aware that there are certain frequencies that are much more effective than others. In fact, I know that when the Second World War came, I believe that the Nazis changed the international standardization of tuning. They altered the tuning. Before was more organic, so the musician would tune their instrument to sounds that were organic, so they were connected with Earth. And they altered that tuning in order to diminish the impact of music. And I know that music, when it's tuned with the right frequencies, it can penetrate at the cellular level, the DNA and also the pineal gland. It can open the heart, and it can activate the female energy of people. That's exactly my purpose. However, I want to make a distinction because we are talking about sounds.
Yeah.
And so sounds is basically beautiful because it's healing and it's beautiful and it really creates that spaciousness for a no mind situation. However, what I do, I create melodies. So when you add a melody to sound, now what you do, you create an emotion. And that's what I believe is needed right now. We need to create emotion, and emotion relieves. Emotion is energy in motion. We have so much energy within ourselves, so much emotion within ourselves, and it's stuck there and needs to it has to come out. And the melodies create exactly that, because melodies is just music talking to you. It's just life talking to you. So
yes, very much so, and I can't help but resonate with everything that you're saying. Not to overplay the word resonation, but for me, it's very important. And I know, well, I wanted to be a musician as a child. I didn't have the hands coordination to play piano or guitar, even though I tried very hard. However, music has always been an integral part of my life, and it's always been very, very important to me. And I remember, we can all probably remember this as a child or as a young adult. We certain songs have certain meanings within our life, and certain melodies have certain meanings within our life. And, going back to what I was saying about the different frequencies, I remember as a young man getting, when I was angry or I needed energy, I would play like Metallica or something, Even though that had a lot of symphony to it. It had a lot of symphonic notes to it. But then, and then going back to like jazz or new age when you wanted to relax. So it's amazing how it can alter our state of consciousness, and in such a profound way. When we add memory and emotion to it, it really does affect our consciousness, even on a subconscious level.
Yes. However, to me, it is my belief that at this time of the awakening journey of humanity, music is really shifting to his original purpose, which is really to open the heart and activate the female energy among humanity. While until now, most of the time, it's been used for entertainment. Now we are going back to what it was before. I mean, in the ancient time, in some civilization, when somebody was sick, they would call the musician.
Yes.
and the musician would play specific frequencies and specific melodies to realign, retune the physical, emotional system of a specific individual. And I think we are getting back to that. And in my perception, music has the highest level of capacity to create oneness, peace, love that I know of. And so I think it's going to make a big difference at this time when the whole artificially created reality that we are so used to is crumbling as we speak. So what's going to happen is that most of humans will lose an identification. The identification, they've been identified with the story, with the movie, that it was going to disappear all of a sudden. So there will be a lot of fear. A lot of people will be lost, and music will be one of the vehicles that will help the people to. It's going to be like a bridge from the third dimension to the fifth dimension.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, and I can see that. I can absolutely see that and feel that as well. And just as you say that, you say the first video of Unfolding Secrets is out, and we have it on our website. We share it with people on a regular basis. And you say that this is an expression of the divine feminine. I love the way that you say that, because it truly is. Now, why is it so important for us at this time? And I mean, I know the answer, but I would like to hear what you have to say and share it with our listeners. Why is it so important at this time that we re-assimilate the divine feminine energy within our lives?
Well, it's a must. If we want to continue our physical experience and we want to expand it, we need to reconnect to the female energy, because it's only with the female energy where we can get to the higher dimensions. We have been driven by a male energy for many centuries. So an energy that is based on competition, on separation, on logic mind. And it served us well because it took us where we are right now. But at this point, as the earth itself, our mother earth right now, is raising its frequency in order to ascend itself. And so we need to activate the female energy to be able to follow her and to be with her and to continue the journey. Because with female energy, we need to open the intuition. And the intuition, my perception of reality, is our antenna. It's like what when an airplane has to land, he needs to have a conversation with tower control. Otherwise, he doesn't know how to land, right? Yeah. So that's what the intuition is going to be. It's going to create a connection with our tower control, which is the part of ourself that is that knows it all and has a much bigger view of the whole journey. It's very important that this is happening right now. And so it's very important that each of us acknowledge our own gifts. It doesn't have to be music, it can be anything. Whatever gift you carry within yourself, it's very important that right now we acknowledge it and we take it out and we really follow our heartfelt gift. Because everybody on this planet, no exception, everybody on this planet are special. Mm-hmm. And they are unique. And they are extremely powerful. And so that's what needs to be done. So there is a few people on Earth right now, probably a few thousands, or maybe a million or something, of people that are a little bit more awakened. And that doesn't mean that they're necessarily better. It's just they are momentarily more awakened and more aware of who they really are. And so those are the people that will prepare the ground for the humanity to adjust to the new frequencies. And again, in my part is to bring music to the game and to expand with the concerts in order to keep feeding the humanity with high vibrational resonant music.
I couldn't agree more, Marco. And it seems that to touch on your comment about the few 100,000 or the million people, it feels as if I firmly believe that I am one of those people. I believe that most of my contemporaries that I work with, like yourself and others that I'm doing collaborations with, are not only laying the groundwork, but I believe, and again, I just want to touch on that you said, it doesn't make anybody better or worse. If anything, I find it to be breaking new ground. And it actually makes our lives a little bit harder because we don't want to live in the old paradigm. We're being driven to create something new, something different, and to hopefully assist the future generations into something that is much greater, something that would allow us to live truly from our hearts, like you said. And going back to the idea of music being a part of that, it's just like I said earlier in this discussion, it's something we forget about sometimes, especially if those of us are on this path to awakening or enlightenment, whatever we want to call it, the transcendence of humanity, because we're so busy thinking about it, we forget to enjoy it. And I will say that the music that you have put out has definitely helped me to enjoy the process. So thank you for that. We're going to be taking a break in just a few seconds. But when we return, we're going to talk about Marco's new project called Unfolding Secrets, the Symphony of the Heart, and the process of bringing that together and what was his motivation behind that. And welcome back to the justBernard Show here on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. We are here speaking with composer Marco Missinato. He's joining us live from Rome to discuss not only his work in music, but the philosophy of music in the awakening process of humanity. And Marco, I was wondering if before we get into discussing the new project, could you be so kind to tell us a little bit about your personal journey, how you came into the planet, and what brought you to this place of understanding and aligning with music so much, and brought you to this place of creating this wonderful project?
Well, I grew up in Italy, in Rome, and my experience with the physical world was extremely intense. It took me quite a while to figure out a little bit why there were so many limitations, which I was not accustomed to,
right?
and why there was so much sadness and so much fear and so much pain and so much separation. And so, through those time, in order to make it a little bit easier for myself, I would naturally go to the music, whether listen somebody else's music, or when I was lucky and there was nearby an instrument, I would just go to the instrument. I would just play a few notes, and I would instantly feel a tremendous amount of love and peace and a sense of easiness that would come through. So my connection with music was it was like for me a tool to use in order to go back home and take a little bit of break from the density of the physical experience. And then as I went deeper into this connection with music, I started to have dreams, and in these dreams, I started to see images of oneness, of people gathering around the music, fully embracing the love and the oneness that was coming from the purity of the notes, of the melodies, and finding the love and finding the oneness, the peacefulness that I was feeling when I would go to the music myself. So this dream, of course, keep expanding, and it took me to dare into the mysteriousness of life in so many ways. Basically I never the music and the dream allowed me to never really fit the box. And I always was daring into outside from the comfort zone, into the unknown, completely driven by the idea of joy and enthusiasm about an imaginative possibility. And so with that, I went to America, for example, and from America, then I went to other locations, and I would allow completely the voice of my heart to tell me what to do next, which takes a lot of courage, because when you make such a choice, you have to always go. You find so much resistance because you are not complying with everybody else. So the family is against you, their friends are against you, the system is against you. Everybody are saying you need to get real, you know.
Right. Yes. Get real on the 3D paradigm.
Exactly. So, but now it's interesting because many years later, in fact, it's not a coincidence that right now I'm in Rome. I am back in Rome after many years. And for me, it was like going back to the past and revisit the past and see if there is any emotional attachment to the past that still needs to be released, because I'm at the verge of a new beginning, a new journey with this project that I'm launching. It's not just a project for itself. It's also my own life is expanding again.
Yes.
And to be able to do that, it seems like divine synchronicity wants me to go back to my past and make sure that I'm clear about it, and I don't have any attachment left. Mm-hmm. And so that's one of the energetically, that's the reason why I'm back in Italy right now. And I'm noticing, because by dwelling with the past, inevitably I meet friends and family from the past. And I notice that how now they actually tell me how much they envy me, because their life is miserable, and they are very unhappy, and they are full of fear. And they tell me, when you were a little child, I was always scared of you, because you would also always do these weird things that you're not supposed to do. But now I understand why we were doing that. I wish I could have done that. And it's so beautiful, because I can tell her, well, it's never too late. You know, you can start right now. It's not the end of the world. Oh no! Now, of course, the programming in their mind says, no, I'm too old. It's too late. You know, and so say, okay, why don't you just listen to the music and see how you feel about that? You know, and usually that not always, but often. It creates a lot of interesting results. We are collecting so many incredible testimonials of people that it really feels like they need to listen to good music at this moment of their life. Is really important, among many other things, of course. But again, music has the power to go right away, instantly, through the cellular structure and really open the heart and create that emotion to come out and create the release and create that relaxation and a sense of oneness with everything that exists.
I couldn't agree more with you. And it's funny, as you're telling me your journey of returning to Rome and seeing the old friends and whatnot. I just went through something fairly similar several years ago. I'm from Miami, and again, a very busy city, just like Rome, very international and very, high fashion, very grounded in the third dimension, so to speak.
Yes.
And I went back there a couple of years ago and went through almost the same exact thing you went through, seeing the old friends, them saying almost the same thing to me, letting me know, oh, now that you're doing this, now I know why you were so weird or so different. But I will say the beautiful thing of it, and I'm wondering if you're experiencing the same thing, is that I got in contact with people I haven't spoken to in 20 years, 25 years, and now they are my biggest supporters of my work and are sharing my work, and they themselves are now on this spiritual evolutionary journey, which maybe they wouldn't have been if I didn't go back there.
Yes. Well, that summarizes the way how we really can help people, because many light worker, there is a little bit of confusion about how to help people, and many people think that to help people means to take care of them, and that's something that most of the time really doesn't go far at all. All we need to do to help people and help the world is to follow our highest joy and to make our light as bright as possible through the action of following our joy, which our joy always take us to the highest level of our physical expression. And so it's not about, for example, I'm here in Rome now, and if I would follow the three-dimensional way to help people, I would have to take care of my mom. I would have to convince my father not to do this. You should do this instead. And if I do that, all I do is to create a lot of resistance, because that's not my job. My job is not to take care of other people. Even the people that are close to me, it's not that I can fix them. Also, it would be arrogant for me to decide that, no, this is the better way to do. How can I possibly know the whole spectrum, the whole journey of a person from the limited view that the physicality gave me? So that's not certainly the way to go. The way to go is to just come here and be joyful and do beautiful things. And then there's going to be a true reaction. Either one person resonate and feel inspired and says, oh my God, this is so beautiful. Can you show me how I want to do the same? And then you create an opening, and then a communication can start, and then you can create the ground for an expansion and for the support. Or the person is not ready to that kind of frequency, and so it will automatically disappear.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things, one of the topics that I try to get across in my personal message is that we can't force the awakening. We can't force people to divert from their own personal path, their own personal journey. We can't get angry at them for not understanding, whether it be the political process, the awakening process, the expansion process. Everyone is where they need to be. The only thing that we can do is we can be an example, and we can be there to answer questions when they have them.
Absolutely. Yes. And the formula that I use, that I have to learn, which is a difficult one because it's so far from the three-dimensional way, is to completely follow your joy. But there is an important part of the formula, which is with no expectations.
Oh, yeah.
So I create music just because it gives me an orgasmic joy. And that's all. The rest is none of my business. It's divine synchronicity. The universe will take care of the rest by resonance. So, because if I start to say, okay, I sit down at the piano, I need to create music because I need to fix the world, for example, or I need to become famous, or I need to please a certain type of masses, or I need to please the world, then I add to the music a high degree of manipulation. Yeah. And that's where the purity is lost. And that's where most of the beautiful artists that are out there, that's where they get lost. They originate, maybe they start with a pure concept, a melody comes through them and it's beautiful. But then after that, there is an ego, there is an agenda that has certain aspirations and need of validation or whatever. Or maybe they need to validate the music industry, which is profit at any cost kind of industry, like most of the industry. And so that's where the music gets polluted, and that's where the magic is lost. So in every single step of the music process, and I believe in any creative process, we need to make sure that we stay in the joy and we let go the need of recognition, a need of validation, of fame, or whatever. We just let it go. And paradoxically, when we let go, it comes.
Isn't that the truth? And I couldn't agree with you more, Marco. I see that myself in the work that I do. I mean, most of my creative work is done in editing and writing programs and whatnot. But it's very true when there is that moment of, oh, I need to make sure this makes that much money, or I need to make sure we reach that many people. It loses something, and the purity is gone, the integrity is gone, And I feel that's one of the most important things that we can reconnect with at this time in our lives is our integrity. Do what we say what we do, and be true to our highest self. Whether it be the idea of the heart, whether it be the idea of the reconnecting with a source, or the idea of just being the truest sense of who we are, no matter what the vibration is, and living in that truth.
Absolutely. That's a fifth-dimensional concept. Basically, we have to go back to become children. And just like when we were children, we would just play with innocence and completely in the now, not thinking about what comes next or what is the outcome. It's just we just get lost into the playfulness of the moment. And that at this point, I think it's almost mandatory if we want to continue as humans. If we want to thrive as humans, we really need to step into our innocence as a child and really let go of anything else and just play and just stay in joy all the time.
Absolutely, and that is the next step. That is truly the next step for a majority of us at this time, I believe. And this might be, I hope this doesn't take away from the conversation, but I want to share something that's been happening to me lately, especially with our listeners, that it's amazing how many people have advice. The GIC, we're not a multi-million-dollar charity. We're not a multi-million-dollar public broadcasting network. We thrive off the minimal amount of money just to get by, just to do what we do. And I'm actually very happy with that. I don't need to have the big $50,000 paycheck. I don't need to have the GIC be this $1 million charity. But it's amazing how people are constantly giving advice. Well, you should do this, and you're going about fundraising wrong, or you're going about promotion wrong. You're going about marketing wrong. You need to build your audience more mainstream. Constantly, kind of like what you said with the music. Yes. And it kind of makes me laugh because I'll try it for a week. And automatically, we'll do it in my team. By the way, I have a wonderful team that I work with of several people, Trevor being one of them. And we'll try it for a couple of days. We'll try it for a week, and it might work for a couple of days. And then, because of the fact that our heart is not in it, it just will not work.
Exactly.
If my heart is not in it, I find that if I am doing what I do, even if it is breaking the old ways of doing it, even if it's not becoming a 501c3 or 501c4, even if it's not, giving in to a larger agency to promote us or anything like that, I find that I do much better, and our message is much clearer, and we reach that many more people by having integrity.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree with you, and. You see, what you're addressing is the old ways of doing business, which is part of the reality that is crumbling. Also, this idea of business as the old school,
yes,
which is basically I try to give as less as possible and take as much as possible,
yes.
And that makes me a good business person. And now we need to let go of that because, like you said, it lacks integrity, and we need to introduce the idea of resonance. So I do something because it gives me joy, and resonance will bring me, the team will bring me all the whatever is needed for the product of my joy to go as far as possible. That's a kind of trust that is very much needed among humans, and it's going to be challenging because for many people, and me included, sometimes challenging. To surrender to that kind of trust completely. But when I do, then magic steps into my journey.
Yeah,
and it's wonderful.
It's so true, Marco. It's so true. And just for our listeners out there, I just want to ask you. You mentioned something which I feel is very important. Right now, I'm teaching a class here locally. I have a weekly intention circle. I don't know if you heard about the whole international intentional community where we get together, we intend, something for the highest good of ourselves, for people. And yes. I find that most people, including myself at times, I mean, I have to admit it, I'm still in a human body. I still have my own shortcomings that I'm trying to overcome. But the number one thing I hear is there's that doubt, there's that fear, that worry. I've seen instances, including with the intentions that I put out, where everything like what we just spoke of, putting it out there, having trust and knowing and trusting the process. We see it starting to manifest within our life. Let's say somebody was intending to make a musical album, let's say, and we have a couple of musicians that we work with, and they've been invited to a studio and they're getting there, and all of a sudden it stops short, and they're like, "Well, I got scared."
Yeah,
I don't know if you could share any advice with that, or if you could explain what that is. What are we afraid of?
I have to deal with that many times, often with musicians, for example, in my case. When I deal with musicians that, for example, are very educated, it's really, really difficult because education, it takes a great deal of intelligence to be able to absorb education without and maintaining freedom.
Yeah.
Because in many ways, education is interfere with freedom. It's supposed to give you freedom, but only if you are extremely connected with source.
Right. And not allow yourself to be indoctrinated versus...
Exactly, yes. So many of the musicians I work, and some of them are much, much more talented than me. They're amazing, but still they have so much data in their mind, and they don't allow themselves to become again innocent and completely childlike, naive, because they have so much information, and then now I know what music is. Oh, I know how to do music. Yeah. And once you position like that, that's a wrong signal.
You're cutting off source. You cut off the connection.
Yes, you do. You cut off the connection, and then the universe, or the higher self, whatever you want to call it, which wants to dance with you, it wants to be with you, it cannot, because it found the door closed.
Yes, exactly. I hate to cut this short. We've only got about 10 more seconds, so I don't want to get too carried away with this. But when we continue, we're going to continue, and we'll finish up this aspect of the discussion, and we'll come back and talk about how you got started with the whole concept of unfolding secrets. And welcome back to the Just Bernard Show here on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. We're having a really fascinating, and I am enjoying every moment of my discussion today with Marco Missinato. Before we went on the break, Marco and I were just wrapping up our discussion on the idea that, many of us, especially whether we work with the law of attraction or the or intention work that many of us do, many of us seem to cut off our connection to our source with worry, with a fear. We can see that wonderful things are happening. A good example is many of us, when life is going too good, we're like, oh man, things are too good, something's going to happen. Well, when we say that, something will happen. So Marco and I were just discussing when we left off, he was sharing with us about how some musicians, when you're overly educated, we're losing that connection with that. And Marco, I was wondering if you could pick up a little bit where we left off and maybe share with us any experience that you have had to kind of overcome and let go of that worry.
Well, it's a challenge. It's a challenge. It is a challenge. Again, by shifting from the energy field in your mind and going into your heart, immediately that process can be obtained successfully. So when I am working with musicians that are a little bit too much in their mind, I try to find ways to give them permission to allow, for example, mistake to take place. They are so afraid to make mistakes, and I tell them that most of my greatest music comes out of mistakes, because a mistake is never a mistake. A mistake sometimes is a portal that takes you in a different unexpected energy field. And so you play a note that is wrong, and sometimes say, well, that's not actually wrong. Actually, that's interesting. Maybe I'm not, the educational system tells me I'm not supposed to do that, but the educational system is based on second-hand informations. Is not as somebody at a certain point figure out the way how to do something, and now you find it in the university. But that needs to be, of course, honored, but also needs to be questioned and challenged in order for us to continue the expansion. And so the education should constantly expand. It should be also a creative process. So by giving permission to the musician to relax and allow themselves to tune with their heart and not to be worried if something doesn't work as it's supposed to.
Right.
Now, very often, some really magical, incredible things happen because their soul take over now. And the way how the music flows, it's completely different, and it's so beautiful.
And that can transcend over to all of us and our daily lives. That when we surrender to our higher self, when we surrender to our intuition, and know that everything is going to be okay. It is going to be okay. It's going to work out for the highest good at any moment.
Absolutely, and you can. The idea of artist, everybody are artists. I mean, artist is like from the heart.
Yeah.
So whatever you do from the heart, you can be a postman and deliver mail and be an artist,
Yes.
Because you can do it with such care and such joy and in your unique way. And when you deliver the mail, some energy comes through, and now it's different, because we are all different, we are not sameness, we are oneness, but we are, paradoxically, we are all unique. And so that uniqueness needs to be, we need to find the courage to bring forth our uniqueness.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. And I say that with, I share that with my friends, my team also. There was if I can just use an anecdote here, there was a story that Ram Dass told about a woman, and I've shared this before, but this was a perfect intro to this with what you're saying. About a woman who was concerned about her spiritual practice because she had a child and she'd never had time to do her meditation. She didn't have time for prayer because she was so busy taking care of the child. And Ram Dass said to the woman, well, do you love your child? She said, yes. He said, do you love taking care of your child? She said, yes. He goes, that is your spiritual practice.
Yeah. Exactly.
So we don't need to fit into a mold, is what you're saying and what I'm saying.
Right.
There is no mold.
there is not. And also when we follow our joy 100%, is what we do. We unplug completely from the fear-based system and we don't feed it anymore.
Yes, exactly. And
that's very important to do.
Now, Marco, let's bring the conversation a little bit to how the beginnings of the stirrings of Unfolding Secrets came about. It's a wonderful, wonderful project, and I really enjoyed listening to the music on the CD. I love watching the video.
Yeah.
And you can definitely see, we can see, those of us that are observing, can see the magicalness of it, the magic behind it. But how was it for you? What was the process like, and how did it evolve?
Well, Unfolding Secrets is the latest crystallization of my my dreams, as I already talked about it. What happened? Nothing of Unfolding Secrets was planned. Again, it was completely stepping into the now, stepping into the now, and things start to unfold. About 6 months ago, I finished this sequence of melodies, and I arranged them, orchestrate them, and and again, my heart says, you need to put a voice. There is a voice. There has to be a voice, a human voice on these melodies. And so I started to casually go through the net and look for voices and listen to different voices. And then on Facebook, I I listened to the voice of Christine Hoffman, which is the singer of the album, and I connected to her. I shared with her the music. I said I am an Italian producer of music, composer, and I am finishing this album. If listen to this track and if it resonates, why don't we experiment? We try to do something. And she got back at me right away. And she said, "This is wonderful. It's fantastic." And she actually sent me a track, and the track was impeccable, was wonderful. So here we go again. Divine Synchronicity took me to the next step. And then once we finished the album, for some reason, I felt I often feel that once I finish a creative process, I have to take a break. And taking a break sometimes is the most productive things you can do. Yeah. Many people feel guilty when they go in vacation. To me, vacation is not vacation; it's actually processing what I'm working from a spaciousness that is different than before.
Yeah.
So I sensed that I had to go to Ecuador. There was a long-time friend that invited me in Ecuador for many, many years. And this time I resonate with it. My heart says, yes, it's time for you to go. And I went to Ecuador, and after a couple of days I was in Ecuador, I knew that I was going to do something. And I shifted right away from being a tourist to back to be a fully creative producer. And I remember it was last Easter. And I found myself at a table with the high society of the city of Cuenca at the table, and they were all listening to the music Unfolding Secrets. And I made an announcement, and I said, well, I don't know why I'm saying this, but I think next month I'm going to have a concert with the Ecuadorian Symphonic Orchestra here in Cuenca.
Oh.
And everybody kind of giggled and said, "You don't know what you're talking about. I mean, you have no idea how difficult that could be. It might take maybe 1 or 2 years before you can even begin to start such process." But I had such a strong resonating yes within my heart, and I said, "No, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have a concert here with the Symphonic Orchestra." And in fact, I did. A week later, I introduced myself to the maestro of the Symphonic Orchestra, who was supposed to be a person very difficult and never listened to anybody, and is very unreachable and very arrogant. And again, I guess the freshness of my approach, it kind of cut through all those walls.
Yeah.
And he actually said, "Yeah, I want to listen to this music." And we listened to the music, and he said, "This is fantastic. This is beautiful. Let's do it, but I can do it 6 months from now." I said, "No, 6 months from now is not possible, because 6 months from now I will be in England, and then I will be in Australia. I will be too busy. We have to do it now." And somehow that too break through, and he ended up inserting 2 pieces on the next available concert, which was like a week later. He had a concert with classical music in a theater in the city, and then from there he got back at me and said, "Okay, we want to do the whole concert with Unfolding Secrets." And so the same month we produced the first concert, and actually we ended up doing 3 concerts in Cuenca. So the people that were sitting down at the table was like speechless. And this is just the power of being like a child, being completely innocent, being open, and just feel the joy and communicate the joy and the passion. I guess that what was my biggest asset, I guess. And so, and then of course I hire a crew of a video crew. Among them, of course, there was Ashley Rogers. She's a wonderful documentary producer. And basically in that couple of months that I spent in Cuenca, there was a tremendous amount of outcome. And this outcome, now you can see it in terms of music and in terms of videos and photography displayed in the Unfolding Secret website.
Yes, and I have to say the imagery is absolutely beautiful. The documentary is beautiful, and the video is absolutely beautiful. Are there any more videos going to be coming out?
Yes, we are producing right now. We have so much footage.
Wonderful.
So we're going to have another music track from the tune A Dream from My Heart. And then we will have more video coming up. And right now we have finished a business presentation, which is ready. So everything is ready. We have this beautiful vision of bringing, officially the idea is to bring messages of peace and love and oneness to the world through live concerts everywhere in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Subliminally, it's more really tapping into those frequencies to activate the female energy, to open the heart of humans, and to facilitate their awakening process through pure music. So that's the idea, and we want to do that. We want to feed constantly the earth with high vibrational concerts all the time.
And that's not an easy task to do, so I commend you for it.
Thank you.
I can see. So you are going to. Your goal is to perhaps take this on tour.
We want to do a world tour.
Oh yeah.
We want to do a tour everywhere. We are right now starting to spread the word about what Unfolding Secret is, and what is the intent, and what we is our heart desire. And so we are connecting with angels, investors, potential sponsors that will support this vision of doing a world tour with Unfolding Secrets, and which will be the first step. And then after that, we have a bigger vision. In that vision, sacred geometry will be included in the event.
So it'll almost be as if you will be, how shall I say, awakening the Earth resonance in different parts of the world?
Yeah, of course.
Or anchoring the light, or anchoring the divine feminine, perhaps, might be a better
absolutely
way.
Yes, to the people, to all the people that resonate with that. Of course, not everybody will resonate.
Right.
So yes, and it's already happening, because we are collecting hundreds. At this point, we are almost getting to thousands of responses of the people that are feeling already the impact of having Unfolding Secrets music in their life.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. I really am. I have to say that the first time I heard the entire, I don't know if you want to call it an album. What do we call it nowadays? The entire project, I guess, is a good way to say. I couldn't stop listening to it. I literally played it 3 or 4 times in a row, in its entirety, and it just made the evening go by absolutely wonderfully. And I felt so. It felt very, how should I say, the word was familiar. That's what it is. It felt very familiar. The feeling, the sound, the music, the vibration, and how it made me feel was almost like a feeling of coming home. And I'm very big on that, the idea of coming home to our oneness.
Yes, absolutely. That's exactly the words that I would use in order to say what it is that we want to create. We want to help people to go back home. That's our heart desire. Is just to share. Because what happens is when I create when a melody comes through, the experience is so incredibly orgasmic and so powerful, and tears come through my eyes, and and the first thing that comes naturally is I want everybody to feel like that.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
So that is the if there is an attachment, maybe that's the only attachment that is about this project. It's just I want to share to everybody, to all the resonating people, what I feel at the moment during the process of melody creation.
And, I have to, I almost have to giggle a little bit, because I feel the same way. When you feel something a certain way, you want everyone to feel that, especially when it's that empowering and that awakening. So I don't know if that's an attachment or if that's a calling.
Yeah, it probably is. It's just a very pure desire. It's a natural desire, because I truly believe that humans are benevolent species by nature.
Yeah.
And I think once we are in balance, we all want support other. We all desire everybody to be happy and to be loving and abundant. So it's really who we really are. It's just we need to get back in track, to retune our mechanism.
Yes, and I couldn't agree more. Now, this might be a strange question, but I feel that you're saying that music is a very pure vibration. It is a great conduit to help us to reconnect with our higher self, reconnect with our intuition, reawaken the heart. But I wonder, do you feel, and I know that we don't like to necessarily point out the negatives on the planet, but I feel that, let's say a good example is Wi-Fi, cellular vibration, television vibration, all of this stuff that is out there, whether it be an alarm system in your home, whether it be the smart meter, giving off certain radiation. We have so much on the planet right now that seems to be suppressing the highest vibration, whether it's intentionally or not. That's for another show. But the reality of it is that we're dealing with so much. I'll call it frequency pollution.
Yes.
And do you feel? And for me, I do feel that yes, music is a way to cut through that. But what do you feel as far as that is concerned? Do you feel that we need to have this type of music at this time because of all of the frequency pollution?
Yes. Well, if there is one reason why we need it, the only reason I can think about it is that by experiencing darkness, we go towards the light. So all these bad things that are happening in the world is, in a way, you can say, is still the light that is working on us through the idea of darkness, so that we can. Because when you experience darkness, you understand better light.
I agree.
So personally, I think we have enough darkness. We don't need to experience anymore. It's over. But obviously, the darkness will keep going until we say, okay, enough. I got it.
Agree. Yeah.
I don't need to participate in this anymore. And that moment, instantly, the darkness will be gone.
I couldn't agree more. I find that by experiencing what you don't like or what you don't want gives you the clarity of something greater, of something better, and everything that we're going through on the planet right now, whether it be wars, whether it be disaster, whether it be economic collapse, whether it be this as I call it, the frequency pollution with all the the Wi-Fi and all of these things that may be aiding in the lowering of our vibration. It gives us the opportunity to say, this is not how I want to live. And if I do not want to live this way, what can I do to perpetuate a better way, a better system, and a better way for me to think, for me to live, and for me to express who I truly am?
Yes. So sometimes that's how it works. Not always. Sometimes that's the positive reason of the negativity. It's like if I eat bad food and my body gets more and more deteriorated and I feel bad, at a certain point there is a chance that feeling bad gives me a great desire for feeling good. And once I got to that desire, then the scope of the bad food is served and is not needed anymore.
It's exactly. Yeah. It kind of reminds me of, it's almost as if, Marco, that humanity is, well, many of us, and I don't know how much you subscribe to the whole idea of the Earth cycles. And, it's almost as if that the whole 2012 thing that we all went to, let's say, humanity's lowest point, and it may not have been historically the lowest point, but let's say vibrationally, humanity has gone perhaps to its lowest point, and 2012 was the beginning of something greater. And if that is true, we're still in that childlike spiritual development stage as a planet. And it's almost as if the child has to. We always talk about being worried about the child touching a stove or a hot stove or something. Well, once you get burned, you're not going to do it again. So it's almost as if we have to go through some of this stuff to learn what we don't like, learn what our mistakes were, learn what we can do as a human family. And I wonder, and I know that we have two ways of looking at the world. We have the individual path, and we have the human family path. And the human family path is one that it might take a little longer than the individual, and sometimes the individual might take a little longer than the earth path. However, I will say that as we are moving through and as we are learning more about ourselves, especially as a human family, we're going to see that the individual obstacles will be very different. They're going to be very singular, and at points it will be lucky if they are on a global scale. When we see perhaps pollution or war or something like that, we can see that in a bigger sense that, okay, we don't want war. No, we don't want to pollute. But there is the individual self that can also say, I don't want to be unhappy. I don't want to live in fear. So I guess I'm probably just rambling on a little bit here, but I guess my question to you is how can we utilize music? How can we utilize music to help us not necessarily... I don't want to say that we need to turn our back on the darkness of the world, but how we can elevate the darkness of the world.
By music will help triggering the idea of remembering who we really are. And once we start to remember who we are, there is no way back to the darkness. So the conduit, the vibration of music, when it's conceived from a pure heart, will trigger the awakening in terms of starting to remembering our identity, which is much bigger and wider than the one we have with society and with the system. And once that process starts, there is no way back. And then we will start to open our heart, recognize our gift, and take action towards our gift, and then the whole system will crumble like a domino reaction. To me, it's already started, and I feel very, very positive about where we are right now, and I'm very excited about the unfolding.
Right.
That's why I call it unfolding secrets, by the way. It's because this is the time when the secrecy needs to be needs to become transparent. No more secrecy. So unfolding secrecies. It seems like what is happening right now. The secrecy is unfolding. The secrets are unfolding.
It's very true. We seem to, and I love, and that's probably one of the reasons why I was drawn to your work. The term unfolding secrets is perfect for this. As we see the corruption coming to light, as we're seeing the knowledge of our true self being brought to light, and they both go hand in hand, absolutely. We've only got a few minutes. Actually, we got about 5 minutes left on this, but I was just wondering, from your perception, and this may not have anything to do with music, but I'm very excited about some of the things that are happening in Rome. So since you're in Rome, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
I saw last week that you have an organization over there. I don't know if they're looked upon positively or negatively, but they seem to be blocking people from getting kicked out of their homes. Now, was that in the news over there, or was that just in the news over here? As far as I believe they were blocking the police from evicting people from their homes or something.
Yes, I heard a little bit of that. It's not clear because, of course, the media, like the media everywhere in the world, are controlled, so they don't talk a lot about this. They are more focused on the fear-based information.
Of course.
But although I cannot really reply to your question because I don't know enough detail about what I sense is that the collective here, although it's still very dense, however, there are major signs of awakening. There are major signs of changes, and all the things we addressed in our conversation are happening in this part of the world as much as I think everywhere else.
Yes, absolutely. We're seeing so much of that happening around, actually everywhere around the world. Not so much in the United States as I would like to see, but I feel that we are seeing so much. Maybe it's because of the numbers in Europe. We're looking at, I believe we had an action here last week about wages, about raising the wages for Walmart workers. And they were outnumbered 2-1 by the police, whereas I'm noticing in Europe it's about 3-1 for the people. So we're seeing a very profound number of people that are awakening. And I'm not saying I'm for violent protests. I'm not even saying I'm for protests, but it is an expression of people speaking their minds, showing the world what they feel needs to be done and what needs to change. And so for that, I am definitely very positive. I myself, I've been a member of many protests, but they're very small here in the United States. But we do see that it seems to be coming like a wave. First it started in the Middle East. It's coming around now to Europe and a little bit into the United States. So I look forward to seeing more of that.
Oh, absolutely. I believe we are at the verge of something really extraordinary.
It is. It's very, very exciting. And it's nice to see people taking their humanity back. That's really what it comes down to. Is it's the beginning of people taking their humanity back. And yes, go on, Marco.
What I see here is the tremendous amount of conflict internally among people because they are following what they know, but what they don't know seems to speak a biggest truth to them, meaning what they feel more than what they know. They follow what they know because that's all they are used to. They've been programmed to follow what they know. But now what they feel is starting to screaming at them to a point where they cannot anymore turn the other face, turn the other side.
Right.
They had to acknowledge, and that creates such a conflict because there is this is a great time of confusion internally. It's difficult to understand what is right, what is wrong, because there is a lot of deception, there is a lot of misinformation, even between the alternative medias.
Yeah.
There is so much. So life really wants you to feel through resonance, through your heart, what is speak truth to you, without tapping into the outside forces anymore.
Welcome back to the justBernard Show here at Revolution Radio on freedomslips.com. I am speaking with Marco Missinato, the composer from Italy who just released Unfolding Secrets. And we were having a wonderful discussion on music and everything relating to the awakening and unfolding process, which is why it's such a wonderful title for the project. Welcome back, Marco. We were before the break, we were just talking about that we're in a very confusing time, and before we go any further, I just want to right now I just got some breaking news that I need to share. It's a little bit sad, but here locally in Virginia, they just found out that our state senator has been stabbed, and his son was found shot just a few hours ago. Again, talk about a confusing time. It's very, very sad what's happening on the planet in so many different places. This is very strange for me because I find Virginia to be less violent than Miami. Excuse me, but going back to that, with the strangeness that is happening on our planet, many people are very confused. And for me, I feel that a lot of this violence is people acting out onto that confusion, that are very, very scared and just don't know how to handle, let's say, the transition to a higher consciousness, or they're just very angry at what they're feeling. But we are going through a very confusing time. And with that, you were saying before the break how we really need to trust our intuition or trust our higher self. Can you expand a little bit on that? How we are allowing trust? How can we allow trust to happen? In your experience.
Yes, Bernard, it's very difficult. It's the most challenging things because it include the idea of death. Basically, we need to face death. Imagine the struggling of a caterpillar that is starting to become butterfly. He doesn't know what does it mean to be a butterfly. He doesn't know yet that he's a butterfly, but he knows that he's not a caterpillar anymore. So he sees that the cocoon is breaking apart, and he start to make holes everywhere, and he see through there is a light that scared the hell out of him, and he feels his body's changing, and he still doesn't know what are these things that I feel growing in my body, and what am I supposed to do with it. So it's a very delicate and extremely challenging moment, because the transformation between the caterpillar and butterfly is so radical. It's not like I'm becoming something similar. It's like completely different being. Yes. And I believe that's the phase we are right now at. So there is great fear, there is great uncertainty, and we don't have anything. The reality that we know is falling apart. It's like humanity for a long time has been watching a movie in a dark theater, and now all of a sudden somebody turned off the light and everybody realized there was a movie.
Yeah.
And there is, and somebody says, okay, now that's the exit. We have to get out, you know?
Yes,
So that is basically gradually what we are facing, rapidly what we are facing. So no wonder that there is a lot of fear, a lot of people that check out, suicidal, a lot of violence, in a way, not to be justified, but is comprehensible, is understandable, that things like that happen in such a moment of challenge that we are facing. And that's why the people that are a little bit more connected at this moment have a great responsibility, because those are the people that can help through the transition. And I'm not only addressing to the musicians, to the artists, but any people that are tuned in with their heart and are operating from that level. They have the potentiality to support the transition from where we are and where we are going to be, which is from a caterpillar state to a butterfly state.
Yes, absolutely. And I feel that, and I know I say this on the program quite a bit, that many of us are the midwives during a very tumultuous time. And we must aid one another through this process, giving each other tools, whether it be a wonderful, beautiful CD or video as Unfolding Secrets, or whether it be a wonderful empowering meditation that I do, or something to that effect. There's plenty of tools out there to help us with this process. Unfortunately, we don't have them at our fingertips due to the mainstream media and whatnot, which is why it's so important to have programs like this. It's so important to have Revolution Radio. It's so important to have composers like yourself that are all working to help and to give people these tools, making them available, because they are there. We don't need to be afraid of the change. We don't need to be afraid of the process. If we can remain grounded within our hearts during this process, we're going to be okay. But again, you know, like you said, these acts of violence are going to occur with people that are, for me, I look at it like people that have been cornered and just don't know what to do next.
Yes, exactly.
And that's going to be a part of the process, sadly, unfortunately. But it doesn't mean it's the end of the world.
No, it actually means it's the beginning.
Absolutely. We're, like you said, we are going through a transition. We're going through the process. And as we're doing it on a global level, I said it before, we are also going through it on an individual level. And in that individual level, we must be aware of the changes and be true to those changes. I know many people, especially my friends in South Florida and Miami, that were going through the idea of, let's say, the fact that there is transdimensional or extraterrestrial life outside of the planet.
Yeah.
And they knew that it was. They knew that it was what they were feeling was right. That it is there, but they were very afraid of it. They're like,
Yes.
well, what if I saw something? I'm like, well, so what if you saw something? That's great. You made a connection. You know, don't.
Yeah.
There's nothing to be afraid of. We're evolving. We're transcending the old. But again, people that have been so indoctrinated, especially over the last 5,000 years, to believe a certain way, as we are peeling away, as we are unfolding the secrets, there are going to be. It's almost like taking a scab off or letting a scab fall off. The meat is going to be very tender underneath there. And what I like to say is that when you're in that stage, I believe it's an old Hindu quote that when the tree is small, you put a fence around it or so the sheep won't step on it. But when the tree grows large, it can provide shade for many. Be vigilant.
Yeah.
Allow yourself to feel what you feel. Allow yourself, but don't succumb to too much at once.
Absolutely. Yes, I agree. Totally agree.
Yeah, we call it. I went through a situation with a friend of mine who went through too much too fast, and we called it psychic whiplash. You know, if you get too much, you get confused. You're like, well, I want to be there, yeah, but there isn't here yet. We have to get there gently. It's a gentle process. It's not a forced process.
Yes. It seems like, in my perception, it seems like things are slowly progressing, although they are also rapidly progressing. It seems both are true. But the reason why is it seems like existence wants to try to bring as many soul as possible to the other side. And if things happen too rapidly, many would check out instantly, you know. So
I agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, Marco, tell us, first of all, before we forget, it's almost quarter of, we're going to be wrapping things up in about 10 minutes. Can you share with everyone where they can find you, your website, and where they can find Unfolding Secrets?
Yes, the website is unfoldingsecrets.com. And through the website, they can listen to the entire album for free. Or if they like it, they can purchase it with the digital downloading. And again, it's www.unfoldingsecrets.com.
Wonderful. And you know what I love is that you let people hear the whole thing before they decide if they want to buy it. And that again, a new economic paradigm.
Yes, absolutely. Because it's about trusting the process more than being attached to an outcome. It's not my life doesn't. It's not going to be different if somebody download my music and pays me $9. It's not that the point. The point is to spread the world, the music, the power of music, to as many souls as possible.
Yes.
That's where I have to stay focused on. And then the abundance will be an extra bonus, and I am sure I will be there. But that's not the priority. The priority is to support with as much as possible, as much love as possible. And so listen to the music and enjoy it. And if you decide, you can buy it, but you don't have to. But just listen to, because that's what is important right now, because you might start to facilitate even more the remembering of your true identity. And once that is initiated, then automatically everybody will have more abundance.
Yes, it's almost as if we become a beacon of light.
Yes.
That shares that abundance with everyone else. I have I mentioned earlier about the intention process, and I have an intention that I do almost every morning that says, I intend that I always have enough, and I intend I have more. I intend I have enough to share with all. So always having enough for yourself and having enough to share with everyone is a part of the new paradigm, I believe.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And I would like to, since we are almost at the end, I just would like to launch a message to everybody that anyone that is resonating with Unfolding Secrets, and we are our intent to contact us in whatever shape, form you like to be part of it, or to participate, or to comment. We are right now in a situation where we are extending an invitation globally to all the resonating souls, because ultimately what can make it through this density is a teamwork. The key word at this point is teamwork. We need to be a team of resonating soul in order to amplify more and more the vibrational offer, and attracts more and momentum, and then expand more. So anybody that feels a connection with what we're sharing, feel free to connect with us at any level, whether you are another musician, or you are a person that just want to be part of this in some way, or just want to talk about it, or maybe somebody wants to help us with finances, or with some knowledge that they have. I mean, we are really open to receive right now.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful to hear. And as a matter of fact, I wanted to share with everybody recently Susan Evans, which is your, I don't know if I want to say promoter. I don't know if that's a good word. Liaison?
Yes, she's just a wonderful soul. And
she's a wonderful soul, yes. And
so
she created an Unfolding Secrets group here
yes.
At the GIC.org, which is the Global Illumination Council, our organization. And it's right now we've only got a few people, but it's pretty active. Everyone loves what's going on. Everyone's sharing their thoughts and their ideas on this project. So also you can check out Unfolding Secrets on the GIC.org. And before I forget, let me share with everybody that Marco's going to be coming back with me in December, on December 19th. At 4 p.m. Eastern Time, which is about this time. It's 3:48 Eastern right now, for a live stream broadcast. And it's going to be you and the director of the documentary. Is that correct?
Yes, Ashley Rogers.
Ashley Rogers. And we're going to debut the documentary. We're not debuting it internationally. We're going to debut it on the GIC TV channel. For those of you that don't know, we do have a GIC TV channel on our website. And we're going to debut the documentary after a 30-minute discussion with Marco, a live video discussion with Marco and Ashley. So that should be wonderful. Again, that'll be December 19th at the GIC.org. Marco, I would love to know when you guys are starting to prepare your tour, or when you're ready to tour. I don't know the process. I really don't know much about that. But I am a great event coordinator, and I would love to get you guys here in Roanoke. We just built a beautiful amphitheater here, which I think would be beautiful for you guys.
Oh, that sounds good. That sounds wonderful.
Know?
Yes, please let us know the information, and we will make contact for sure.
Oh, good. I will forward you that information, definitely. As far as I know, as a creative person, I don't want to take away from Unfolding Secrets, but I know as a creative person, I always have something ready. I'm wondering if you've already started working on something new.
Yes, the something new is called Sounds of Oneness, and it will be the natural expansion of Unfolding Secrets, because it will take on stage not only the symphonic contemporary classical vibration, but it will add many other devices like three-dimensional sacred geometry. We will have ethnical instrumentations. We will have movements in terms of dance. We will have colors. It will be basically the real vision that I had. This is the Unfolding Secrets is basically the first step to trigger the initiation of the crystallization of the vision.
Oh, that sounds absolutely wonderful. And what is that going to be called?
Sounds of Oneness.
Sounds of Oneness. That sounds fantastic. And I just love the idea of incorporating everything you just mentioned. The sacred geometry with dance and sound and imagery is so to hit every sense, working with all of the senses.
Yes, it's also we are going to create a structure where there will be no separation between the audience and the musicians. We will all initiate the show by toning together, audience and musicians, and we will display the audience in a way that is more organic. and so we will be all together in this adventure, and everybody will be part of it. There will be not, here is the audience and there is the musicians. We will be all blending together the energies.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. That sounds really great. I would love to be a part of that audience or part of that participation. Definitely. I have to ask you, as an artist, especially someone on an international scale. I know for myself, I was so busy doing the work on an international level that I forget about my locality. I've just recently started teaching here locally. I'm wondering if you do anything locally. Do you get to play at any coffee houses, or do you get to perform at all?
Well, Christine Hoffman is constantly performing in the Greenwich Village in New York.
Yes.
In Cafe Vivaldi, and she's having a tremendous outcome of people, and they all come, and she perform several tunes from the Unfolding Secret. So that's already happening. I personally am focusing more right now on the production of the tour, but we really want to create as much possible concerts. So we will address not only the big concert with the 50 musicians on stage, but we will also I also created different templates so that we can also perform a small concert with just a quartet and Christine singing, so that we can fulfill different kind of situations.
That sounds wonderful. And you recently and I love it, was the fact it was on 10/10. You had the premiere of Unfolding Secrets live in New York City. How was that for you? Did you enjoy the experience?
It was beautiful. Well, 10/10, interestingly enough, was both my birthday and Christine's birthday.
Oh, so it was both your birthdays on top of that.
Yes. So it was an interesting date, and it was really beautiful, a beautiful event. We had a very beautiful premiere.
That sounds great. And what a great place to get it started, of course, in New York City. The capital of the world, so to speak.
Yeah. Yes.
That's great. That's great. Well, Marco, I just want to thank you so much for joining us. And I really look forward to our video conversation so we can look at each other face to face.
That's fun. Wonderful.
On December 19th, and that'll be at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on the GIC.org. Please remember that, everybody. Also, remember, you can find Marco at unfoldingsecrets.com. And you also have a personal website, marcomissinato.com?
Yes, I do, marcomissinato.com. And in that, you will find all the information about myself, and also all my extensive library of music, discography, and albums, and everything else.
Yes, somebody on the chat had discovered it and was sharing all of it. They were like, wow, he has a lot of music.
Yes.
I'm very glad. Well, I've had a wonderful time speaking with you today, Marco, and I look forward to having you on the show, having you back on GIC TV Live next month on the 19th, and anything else that we can do to assist in sharing this wonderful energy and sharing this wonderful project with the world, I'd be more than happy to. So just please let us know anything you would like, you need from us.
Okay, thank you so much, Bernard. I really appreciate what you're doing, and what you're doing with us, but also what you are doing for the world is really remarkable. Thank you.
Thank you. And Marco, before we go, and this is always the last trick question.
Yes.
I like to ask all of our guests, if you had one message for the entire world and you knew the whole world was listening, what would you say to them?
I would say, oh my God, I would say, I would probably break on tears and say, I love you all. It's been a wonderful journey. And I am looking for more to do and to share with all of you guys.
That's a perfect answer. That's a wonderful answer. Very good. Very good. Thank you very much, Marco.
Okay.
And we'll be in touch very soon. I want to let everybody know that next week we're going to be doing a very different show here on the justBernard show. We're actually going to acknowledge Thanksgiving in America, and I really don't do that much. But the reason why we're going to do it is we're going to do a show especially on the blessing of food, something that we all forget. How There is no denying the world is awakening. We see it in the global uprisings and demonstrations of the people around the planet and the new way of thinking and living that is arising naturally within each one of us and our communities. I have been a major player in this global shift and movement for over 20 years and have helped tens of thousands of people around the world change their lives and find their voice in order to help create the paradigm change we so desperately need. Join me here at Revolution Radio on the Just Bernard Show every Tuesday at noon Eastern Time for 2 hours of powerful interviews and discussion with some of the most influential visionaries of consciousness, alternative media, and suppressed knowledge. We promise to reveal the real matrix and empower your human experience.